I'm hoping that one of them will join me in a few moments, and that is why we are live with me here alone in the call. It'll go away if neither of them shows up to join the call. You'll see it live. You'll see me disappear. it'll be swell. First episode of the new year. That's it. First show of the new year, yo, that's true. What's up, Draco Kraken? How you doing? How's it going? I wish my lads were here. A sec. Let me go and go. Oh, right. I'll do this for both of them if they should need it. Link there. Okay. Well, hello everyone. And welcome back. Or, oh no, there I go. Ah! Let me know when you are good. Well, let me first stop. Just me. Oh man, wait, that's the Christmas one. Ah! Everything's wrong. Ah! Just me. Hey, what's up? There we go. All right. How's it going? It's just me at the moment. That's the way it be. So. Oh, I need to. Well, anyway. Welcome back to Table Talk, Discussion and Discourse. I, as always, am your host, Alejo, aka Great on 95. I'm getting a call from a different chat? No. Stop. Oh. Hold up. Got an Admech Stratoraptor and a box of Harlequins with Christmas money, so a lot of painting coming up. Dude. That's awesome. I so am jealous of you. Hey Lux, what's up? You're awake. Good. Good. I'm currently signing into my fucking Google account because I would like to do a nice little thing on my chat, but it's not letting me, so that's pretty cool. There it goes, finally. Okay. Well, unfortunately, Aiden will not be joining us tonight. So that is the way that is. Do a nice little thing. My god. Why is that? Why would you do this? Me, so that's pretty cool. Ah. That doesn't even make sense. I log into my... Okay. Well, that's going away forever now. Neat. Anyway. So, it's just me until, Boo gets done. Because, because, and I will let you know, Boo, was, playing Halo 2 with Brogan, No Net Ones, and they're nearly done with it, and so Brogan wanted to finish it, and, he's holding him hostage with a gun to his head. So they're finishing that, and so that's the case. But yeah, so I am here, always, like I say, as always, I am your host. Alejo, aka Grade 995. And today, we're going to be talking about tone. Wow. Isn't that a thing? And I don't know if you guys saw it, but I love the thumbnail that I made. It's really simple, but I don't know. It brings me a lot of joy because every time I see Sag, I can't stop laughing. It's so funny. I love Sag. Anyway, so tone. Tone is something that is very important to a lot of games. Expressing what you want your tone to be in the beginning. Let's say at your session 0, like you should have a lot of setup happen at this point. Hopefully most people know that. Though, I don't know. A new person's born every day or something. Maybe they don't know. Hey, have a session 0 and discuss things with your group. So the tone you're going for with your game is usually set by the type of game that you're playing and what you've talked about with your group, usually. And I would say that your tone is not going to remain consistently the same throughout. In the sense of you, hey, how's it going, Duretier? Been so busy, dude. Don't worry about it. You're fine. You're absolutely fine. It's good to see you though. So, like I said, your tone isn't going to be completely consistent all the way through, just because people are going to have fun. They're going to joke around, you know. They're going to have different reactions to the tones that you set. Maybe not always being part of the whole, like, oh, this is the scary time, or oh, this is the hero time, you know? It just really depends. Well, maybe not the hero time thing, because usually having heroes is pretty easy to stay in character, if you're going to be playing heroic characters, right? But I guess more emotional kind of resonances with each of the players might be different. Is mostly what I'm saying. So, today, we're going to be looking at a video on tone. Or a couple of videos on tone. They are, well, this first one is brought to us by Dicebreaker, and it's called How to Set the Tone in a Tabletop RPG. How to Pen and Paper. Which is their little series that they do. That is as I described. So, let me put this here and go into my studio mode really quick to make sure, yes, everything is okay. Except for the fact that this is not the right TFP for the just me. There we go. By the way, before we begin, I hope all of you out there have had a wonderful, wonderful holiday season / New Year / whatever. Just a day, if you really don't care about any of those. I hope you had a great day, week, month, whatever. Because it's been all right here. We had that whole Halo Infinite stream before the year ended, and it's good to be back with more table talk. So hopefully this year we won't miss so many episodes. And our year anniversary is coming up at the end of this month. I believe it's the end or the beginning of next month. Honestly, I can't remember, but it's one of those two. Or it's the end of February. We started at the end of January 2 years ago, so it'll have been 2 years. So that's cool, exciting. We'll see what we do for it. Probably something. But anyway, that being said, let us begin the video. And I'm going to be bouncing off you, chat. So if you have anything that you take issue with in the video, let me know. or issue with what I say. Either one. I have starting a fun Fantasy Flight Games Star Wars group. Have some good story and theme set up for it. Dude, I'm super stoked for you. That sounds like fun. I hope you guys enjoy it. One day I'll play a Star Wars TTRPG. One day. Anyway, here we go. Well, that's very loud in my ears. Alright.
Hello and welcome back to Dicebreaker. I'm Johnny Chiodini and this is How to Pen and Paper, the recurring series that's all about having a nice time with pen and paper role-playing games. So far we've covered the very basics. What is a pen and paper role-playing game and how do you go about picking one that's right for you? Today though we're going to look at something that pen and paper role-players don't always think to discuss, but it's actually very, very important, and that is establishing the tone. See, one of the nicest things about tabletop RPGs is how versatile they can be. You might be howling with laughter at the start of a session, scared to death in the middle of it, and then sharing an intense moment of reflection at the end of it. One of the best things about this hobby, in other words, is how varied it can be in terms of mood and intensity. In order to get the most out of the hobby, it's best if everybody is coming at the game from roughly the same angle. Or, to look at it another way, if your players go into a game expecting very different atmospheres, there's going to be a bit of a clash in terms of tone, and that can be frustrating for everybody involved. An RPG can be run any number of different ways, no matter what the subject matter. It can be extremely silly, deadly serious, or somewhere in the middle. It's really up to you. Take Boy Problems, for example. Boy Problems is a one-shot RPG set in the far-flung future. The players have been tasked with raiding an extremely
So, I don't want to, I don't want to just let it play the entire time and not say anything. So far, I agree. I guess the only kind of criticism that I have so far is just the late transition to his footage of being in a tabletop RPG. A little faster would have been nice. But other than that, I mean, there's nothing wrong with it so far. Like, it's just, that's a personal thing, I think. But also, I'm waiting for him to talk about it before you start playing for real, like in your session 0. Because that's the easiest way to circumvent so many problems, and if he doesn't say it, I'm gonna be worried. But we'll see. By the way, what is this called? Because it said a Carly Rae Jepsen themed heist tabletop RPG one shot. I don't know. That name sounds familiar, and I don't know why that name sounds familiar. In fact, I'm going to quickly Google Carly Rae Jepsen, Canadian singer-songwriter. Really? Cool. She's 5'2"? Wow. I'm taller than her. Neat. Sorry. I just see that thing. I'm just trying to figure out who this person is. I've heard the name, but I don't know who they are. Okay, well, cool. I guess it's because famous, so name? Neat. Boy Problems.
Set in the far-flung future. The players have been tasked with raiding an extremely well-guarded location wherein lies the Vault, a priceless collection of 200 unreleased Carly Rae Jepsen songs. No, seriously. It's a really funny premise, but then the characters are stepping into very real danger.
She's mostly known for the Hey, I Just Met You song. Oh, that's her? Gotcha. Okay. Also, apparently that's the whole point of it. Okay, now I need to know. Did she make it Boy Problems TTRPG? Seems like tone is something you would talk about before the final boss. Yes. There's Josh Jepsen, the Let's Player, I guess. That's who I was thinking of for a second, because Josh Jepsen I know of. I used to watch Josh Jepsen a bit. Who made Boy Problems? Let's find this out, everybody. Rules adapted from TTRPG system Lasers and Feelings by John Harper. Written and designed by Colin Cummings. Art by Gabby Dorenzo and Saffron Aurora. I think I can actually show you guys this. Yeah. There you go. It's based off Lasers and Feelings. Yep. Okay. Okay, sure. Weird. But I mean, like, why not, I guess?
In order to retrieve something their rich and
Hey,
powerful employer has demanded they acquire. So, while of course this game could be played up for laughs, there's absolutely nothing to say the characters themselves couldn't all be deadly serious, grizzled veterans.
Sure.
Now, as any experienced role player will tell you, aiming for a serious tone doesn't mean there won't be moments of levity or even outright hilarity.
Right.
Similarly, running an off-the-wall game, that doesn't mean there won't be big moments of drama or tension or meaningful and deep character interaction. When I talk about establishing the tone in a pen and paper game, I mean the overall approach everybody takes as a group, identifying the tone the players most want to see in the game, and then working together to establish that tone.
Right.
These conversations are important to have because if the players want drastically different things from the same game, it can become a point of tension around the table.
I'm waiting for you to say it.
Frankly, that's not what you want. For example, let's say a player wants to make a character that's a grumpy, standoffish assassin. Does the player want the assassin to be taken seriously, or are they leaning into a stereotypical role for comedic effect? Accordingly, do the players make fun of the assassin's gruff demeanor in order to heighten the sense of contrast, or do they give it credence?
Okay, so already, this is another thing you can answer at your session 0. How your character is going to act is very much something that you can talk about with your players, or with your fellow players, in order to figure out what you want the character to like seem like to everybody. You know, it's so easy to just say my character will work for whatever group. That's really easy to say. And it could be true, but when you don't go into specifics a little bit, it becomes a little harder, a little more nebulous, and you might not actually be entirely accurate with that. You might, in fact, say, oh, my character will work with any group, and then you get into a group, and your character completely stands out, as opposed to everybody else in that character group. In the sense of it doesn't feel like it meshes, right? So talk about it before you start playing. And if you do talk about it and you figure it out, then great. You did it. Now we can play the game. Say session 0, friend. Say session 0.
Giving the assassin a bit more heft in the world around them and making them seem genuinely dangerous. These are two very valid ways to react to a character, but they have very different tonal outcomes. And ultimately, it's important to know what everyone is going for, because if one player is trying to establish a certain tone while another is aiming for something completely different, they're just going to end up pulling in different directions, they're going to end up frustrated, and no one's going to have a good time.
I guess without understanding beforehand, yes. If you haven't talked about it whatsoever, that can be the case, yes. But if you do talk about it and you have that be the dynamic, where they, the person is serious, one person is a deadly serious character, and the other person is pretty off the walls, and that's like the dynamic between them of like how they clash and how they solve problems, you know, together, then it can work. Session 0, please. Say the words.
That's not to say everyone has to be on exactly the same page, only ever doing something with the express approval of everybody else. Each player is, of course, free to act as they see fit.
Right.
However, it's important to bear in mind that role-playing is a collaborative story exercise, and the better the players work together, the more fun they'll have, even if their characters have different aims and priorities.
I agree.
Now the importance of establishing the tone has been established. How do you go about establishing the tone and keeping it going? The most straightforward way is to have a conversation specifically about tone before the first gameplay session, even before character creation, if you can manage it. Discuss how serious you want things.
Okay, so he's going into it, which is good. He's not saying session 0, but it's session 0. Okay. For my Star Wars game, I did solo session 0s to explain why the characters were in the same place and set up how they'd all meet, being hired for a covert job from the Empire. That's fair, yeah. A solo session... My brain. A solo session 0 is really good. If you can find the time before you actually start to do that with all of your players, if you have that time and they have that time, fantastic. I wish I had that time. I envy you with that time. That's great. Yeah, with this kind of tone setting, even before people have made characters, probably I agree with that of like, hey, before we were even in the mind space of making a character, the headspace, if you will, why don't we talk about how the game is going to be? What do you guys want from this game? You know, are you looking for an adventure? Are you looking for a mystery? Are you looking for a serious kind of I guess all of those could be serious. A more serious look at the world? Do you want it to be more jovial? Do you want to have it be realistic? Do you want it to have it be, you know, kind of more hand wavy? Like this is something that you can set about with your players beforehand. So, and then they make their characters and you go, okay, so is their personality going to fit in, right? Had a lot of time. Did take 2 weeks to get everyone set up. Admittedly, the group is quite varied, but does offer a more Monty crew of misfits. Nice. Yeah. That's awesome. I'm envious. I hope you have fun.
To be, are characters serious professionals, or are they a bunch of rogues who cannot stop taking the piss out of absolutely everything? There's a very big difference, in other words, between players having a joke while their characters are being relatively serious and the characters themselves being farcical, and establishing where that boundary lies in your group specifically is really important.
All right. So I'm putting this out there right now. Who wants to be a mod? Because these bots are getting really annoying and I'm not paying attention all the time. Hey, if you've been around for a while, I'll probably give you a mod. If you want to be in charge of that. But, you gotta let me know. And I will look for it whilst we're continuing with the video. Because fuck me, I'm getting so annoyed with them. And I'll trust you to help me with this. It will be your task. I will give you glorious purpose. I might make a couple of people mods. But anyway, continuing.
It's best to put a stop to potential player clashes before they even start by talking about what everybody wants out of the game and how straight it's going to be played. And again, this isn't a conversation whereby you dictate how much fun you're allowed to have. Hopefully, all of it is fun. But it's a conversation where you set expectations and make sure everybody is aware of the sort of atmosphere the group...
Alright, there you go. I said a couple, that's a couple. Slay and Draco Kraken, you're now mods. It's your responsibility. Oh my god, Pizza Funk? Oh, I said a couple though. A couple means two. If I had said a few. No, you know what? I'll give it to you as well, Pizza Funk. You've been around for a while. What's up? All right, you're all mods. Thank you. Now beat each other to the punch of deleting those, reporting those bots for spam. I appreciate you. Thank you.
Group is trying to foster. A good way of doing this is to reference other bits of media and talk about what bits you like the most. Saying you want to go for a Peaky Blinders kind of atmosphere, for example, is a quick and easy way of bringing in a very specific and very evocative tone. Similarly, if you're playing Dungeons and Dragons and you say you'd rather it was more Lord of the Rings than it was Discworld, then there's a high chance the players will instantly know what you're talking about.
I have no idea what the I don't know Discworld. So maybe. Maybe. Also, hey, you three that I just made mods, do you also want to be mods in the Discord? Because then I can rely on you for stuff in there too. If not, that's fine. You don't have to, of course, but let me know. This is your application.
Once you've decided where the game is going to be pitched, each person involved in the game, no matter what their role, can start thinking about how they're going to engage with it. Sure. How their character might behave, in other words. And it's here I'd like to impart two very specific bits of advice that have definitely helped me in the past. First, if you're a player, be mindful of when and where you make jokes. If you're playing in a game in which the world itself is fairly serious, but you've got a mind to say something blisteringly funny, just do it out of character, or rather, only have your character make jokes when it makes sense for that person to be making light of a situation. Like I said before, you can have plenty of laughs playing a game with a serious tone, but save the jokes your character actually makes for the times when it's really going to do something for the story. If they only crack wise every so often, in other words, it'll give each one of those instances a bit more impact. Similarly...
Okay, so I agree with that. You have to know, like, when you're... when you making a joke outside of the game can really affect the flow. Absolutely. By the way, all three of you are mods on the Discord. Discworld is a zany fantasy world, a disc planet on the back of multiple giant elephants on top of an even bigger sea turtle swimming through space. Oh, I know that. Okay. Discworld was Terry Pratchett's setting? Gotcha. Okay, thank you. I know of that. Sorry, I never remember what the name of that is. Yeah, a well-placed joke can be good in certain circumstances, but a poorly placed joke can really take away the steam that's been rolled. Because most of the time, and you can see it when we play together for the channel, you can see the that we joke around and shit all the time, but basically it was a setting based on deconstruction of fantasy tropes. Oh, there you go. We joke around all the time, and we do it in and out of game, and we have a general just fun time. But when things are serious, we don't usually tell jokes, right? We don't try to make each other laugh at that point, because we feel that tension, right? We want to feel that tension, and none of us really try to take from it. Even with, like, and I'll cite, even though Boo's not here, I'll cite Devils and Dice. In Devils and Dice, every time Dispotter is on the screen, quote unquote, every single time, even though I am playing Mez, who is very much more of a, like, taking the piss out of stuff, right? Like, he very much doesn't, he jokes around a lot. He fucking finger guns everywhere, right? Like, that's his thing. He's he's kind of he's not great. But well, I think he's great. But he's like that a lot. But when he's in front of Dispotter, he gives him that respect, where he doesn't do that as much unless it's a moment where Dispotter's already given him all the information, right? Like, that he needs to give him, right? or it's the very beginning when he's like, hey, what's up, right? Snapping his way in, and all that. But during his speeches, during the divulgence of that information, he's quiet about it, you know? Basically just asking the questions that needs to be asked. And like, the same is for like Boris and of course Sign. Like none of us, you know, make the jokes even out of game. Like occasionally maybe there's one or two. I don't remember. I honestly don't. But it doesn't take away from the fact that we're in that moment, right? And it really helps with that building of that that tone and that scene taking place, that we can all take it that seriously. And I feel like being in a friend group that's as close as ours is really helps with that. Just being in a friend group period helps with that, because you can kind of play off each other and actually, you know, do this in such a way that, or play the game in such a way that it is, it can be a lot more powerful, because you're allowing each other to feel that, right? Whereas I don't know about with a group of randoms. I've not played with many. I don't really find myself needing to, you know. It's just one of those things where I'd rather have that more personal connection, you know. Anyway,
for the GM, think about how you describe your character's actions and especially their failures, because they reinforce the tone an awful lot.
True.
If a character attempts to jump from one rooftop to another, for example, there is a world of difference between them clean missing and landing in a cart full of dung, and landing awkwardly on some roof tiles, having them break free and tumble away as they fall with a startled cry onto the cobblestones below. Even if the damage they take in this scenario is exactly the same, the way you describe it and how much of it is the player's dumb fault will really impact how they feel about what just happened and how their character is going to be perceived. This is also a really good opportunity to talk about the type of content that should be considered off the table. Some players might be comfortable playing in a game where sexual violence, torture, racism, or other difficult topics are a feature of the world. Other players, unsurprisingly, would prefer to avoid that sort of thing.
Now, so far, I've agreed with this video entirely. The only problems that I have now that I'm noticing is we've gone through this part, and it took him about 4 minutes to get to the point of talk before, right? And we're now at 8 minutes in, and now he's talking about this is a good time to talk about the other stuff that's maybe not so good that your players don't want to deal with, right? Which I'm also like, yes, absolutely, this is a great time to do it. But when he says this is the time, I'm also like, okay, we're 4 minutes away from when you said the time. I feel like, and I don't know if this is, again, this might just be me thinking about it, but I feel like having said session 0 or the session beforehand, right, instead of this is also the time. Like, I get the implication of it being the same time, but I also feel like it would be good to reinforce that, of like saying again, the session beforehand or the session 0, right? It really drives that home of like, this is the time when you do this, right? Instead of just saying this is the time, because if you give it a name, it makes it so that it's something that can be recognized a lot. So, which is why I say session 0. That's why we usually say, why don't you just do a session 0 where you talk about this thing? Because session 0 is incredibly easy to understand before, like, for anybody who's not even a part of a TTRPG community at all. Like, oh, session 0, that's before 1. That's strange. What do you do then? It must be before the game begins, setup, right? Like, it's a logical thing that people can follow very easily, I think. And maybe he's not saying it because session 0 maybe invokes more of a specific TTRPG. I'm not sure. I know I say it for everything now, but I originally heard it just for D&D. So it might be, and it might also be because D&D is more popular than most other things, right? But maybe normalizing it to be more of the universal thing, because I don't see why not. Everything's a session when you play. Whether it's a one-shot, that's a single session, right? Anything like that, it can be used as it. Like, I know every game has its own terminology for the time and such that you take, but I feel like it'll be easy to just say session 0, session 1, you know? Anyway.
Similarly, some people can be squeamish about violence and gore, and being upfront about where your boundaries lie is a good way to make sure the action stays in the sweet spot. Remember that every person is different, and if somebody would rather not play in a game featuring torture or hate crimes, then that's fine. Some viewers might be hearing this and thinking that's limiting the world or denying the existence of real-world problems that could be engaged with in a meaningful and cathartic way.
Hey!
Play.
That's true.
And that's a perfectly valid opinion, and for what it's worth, I do think real-world issues can be tackled meaningfully in RPGs, but if the
Sorry, when I say that's true, and I don't want to be taken out of context, it's not that I'm saying that's true that if it's not in there, that means that you are overlooking them or not, you know, acknowledging that they exist and all that shit. No. What I'm saying is it's true that it's there that you can use as something that is a tool for you to engage with and deconstruct or do whatever you want with, as he says, like having a catharsis, right, through it. Because that's not to go back to an old topic, but with all the current stuff that's going on with TTRPGs, the bigger TTRPGs as of late, with all the getting rid of a bunch of quote unquote problematic things, it really does take away once you kind of don't engage with it whatsoever. When you sweep it under the rug and pretend it never happened, it kind of makes it so that it's a little less something that can't be learned from, you know? Is that the right one? It's something that... Okay, so let me give an example. And this isn't for any of you that have watched our 92 episodes, right? Like, you know at this point, right? We've had 92 episodes. You know how we feel about this shit. What I'm saying is more just if this is a standalone thing that somebody has watched for the first time, I want them to understand my position. Slavery bad, right? Slavery bad. We all know this. It's not a good thing. When you have it in your game, you're not promoting it, right? Necessarily. There could be some weirdos who are like, yeah, we love slavery. We have it in everything, and everybody owns slaves all over the world because it's great. You know, there could be someone like that who really believes that it's the best thing ever for the world, okay? I won't deny that that might be the case. Usually, and most popularly, people go, slavery bad. And then, in their games, they go, how do we get rid of this? Right? How do we stop this? And if they do engage with it, it's not because they themselves are like, I love slavery. No. It's because the setting itself allows you to engage with it and kind of understand it from different perspectives, as well as see the downsides for it by engaging with it. I feel like it's important for a dungeon master, a keeper, a whatever, to really allow that choice to have the consequences that it has, right? If they do enact slavery and they don't treat their slaves well, right? If they're an evil character and they are not treating their slaves well at all, I don't see why you shouldn't expect that those slaves will try to kill you to rise up and get out of your grasp however they can, you know? And how other people might even be look down on you for that, you know, depending on where you go, obviously, in the world, right? There should be some kind of consequence for it. Even if it's not an immediate consequence, it's still something that's like, hey, you're treating little Timmy badly. Little Timmy hates you. Like, actually hates you. There is no reason why, if you were in danger and little Timmy was there and he could definitely save your life, little Timmy would pick up the knife that he's going to defend you with, quote unquote, and just stab you to death and go, thank you to whoever is fighting you, right? You know, just use it as a tool. It's a tool. When you remove yourself from all moral conflict, you use the chance to contemplate the causes of it. Yes, that too. Absolutely. What caused this? What made it so that this is the way that things are? Why do people act the way they do? You know, like, you can have revolutions take place and you go, oh, this is being caused because there's slavery in this city and people are trying to change the way that things are by having a revolution, you know? Yep, it's a mistake that people feel darker or unethical themes in a game is promoting it, but those themes create threat and conflict with the players often opposing such things. Exactly. Moby Dick wasn't written to promote whaling. Exactly, Lux. Exactly. I don't know about you guys, but I think going after a whale forever until I die is the greatest thing I should ever do. It's like, come on. Think about it for like 2 seconds. Think about what you're doing. Like, anyway, many things. So again, I agree with this so far. This is good. It's also like, if you're playing a game and people don't want to deal with that, that's perfectly fine. It's a fucking game, you know? Also, Dark Sun Shattered Lands is a computer game from the early 90s in the Dark Sun setting, which starts with your characters as enslaved gladiators in an arena. And the first thing you have... to be continued. But yes, I didn't know they had an old computer game for Dark Sun. That's cool.
The alternative is players are feeling alienated, fearful, or entirely discouraged from playing, then removing those aspects, in my opinion, is a small price to pay. After all, role-playing is, in many respects, a bit of escapism, so why force people to confront things they don't really want to have to think about in an otherwise fun activity?
I agree. Okay. First thing you have to do is escape. Serve to establish the bad guys as the bad guys. Yes, exactly. This is the thing that people seem to forget, is that using a bad thing to show a bad person usually means that person is bad. And it's really helpful with establishing, like, stakes, with establishing sides, with establishing a lot of the world in general. Like, it's almost like, and I understand maybe in some places you could then have shades of gray where some things are done, like indentured servitude isn't actually like as bad as slavery, but it is a form of it, right? So is that something that we're also going to eradicate in this world? You know, like it could be something that actually makes you then take a look at it from your character's point of view, or even yours, and go, oh, how do I feel about this? You know? And maybe that scares a lot of people, and that's why people are like, man, we should get rid of everything and only make it happy good times, because only happy good times matter. And I'm over here going, but if you have no sad bad times, then how do you understand what a happy good time really is? Idiot. Anyway. It's like the conflict in the Star Wars game I'm running. Players working for an agent of the Empire, however, it's to oppose a dangerous cult threatening to start another galactic war in the Outer Rim. Yeah, there you go. Absolutely. I don't see, like, and that's the other thing, especially for Star Wars. It's like, I've said this before, you've never seen all of the stuff that the Empire does. You've seen the bad stuff, but has to be some stuff that was good for, like, some people. And they were like, yeah, the Empire is pretty great. How the fuck would they have people that support them otherwise? They're not blowing up planets all the time. You know? Anyway. It's another conversation. I think we talked about that during the Star Wars thing. Go watch the Star Wars episode if you haven't. I don't remember what episode it is, but you can find it.
A tip for DMs in particular, sometimes players don't know that something is going to be particularly upsetting for them until they're faced with it in the middle of a game. And if you're worried about this happening, you can play using pause cards or something called the X. The principle behind both of these things is the same. If the game goes somewhere players suddenly find themselves uncomfortable with, they can hold up a pause card or make an X with their hands by crossing their wrists. At this point, you can pause the game, take a moment to talk about what the upsetting stuff is, comfort that person if they need it, and then find a way for the game to continue without the upsetting content.
Nice. We talked about this before too, and I'll talk about it in a second, but future concern there. Thank you for deleting that message. I appreciate that. Also, report that account for spam. If it's that that kind of weird, like, bot message. It's, like, really annoying, and they need to be reported for spam. They just gotta go, you know? Anyway, I'm the type of GM who tries to show more of the gray morality. Thrawn fan. Easier to do in the years before Empire busts out the Death Star. Yeah, oh, absolutely. That's the thing. I also really like the Shades of Grey. Absolutely. It is so fun and so useful, both with characters and with worlds. Because it's just, it feels so much more nuanced, you know? Like, God, it's so good. I don't know. There's not much more that I can say. When I'm just doing good for good's sake, that's fine every now and again, but I'd rather also be working towards something that my character wants, because it's also something that they, you know, really want to do, or it might be something that's against whatever is good, but is really good for my character, you know? Because sometimes people are selfish. Sometimes people are assholes, you know? It's something that I like because it lets you be more realistic and actually make you feel like this character is more of a person. And it helps with, like, bad guys, quote unquote, right? Where they are not necessarily bad guys, if you'll forgive me for the reference. But they do it because they think that this is actually the right reason. This is actually the thing that they need to do. You know, that this is the way that things are because of something that's happened to them, or because they've seen that this needs to happen because of some sort of vision they had, and that's something that happened to them. But, you know, it's literally like their worldview because of that, because it's what got them to this point. That's another thing that's happened to them. It's usually something that's happened to them, to be fair. But it allows you to really create these kinds of villains who may not have even been a villain had they gone a different path, you know? You can really see the tragic fall of somebody, in that respect. Hold on. Hello.
The gun has finally been removed.
I see that. I'm so happy to see that your head is free of gun.
Yeah, it's a good
You guys finish it?
Yeah, we finished it.
Nice.
Because again, he's never played the
Yeah.
original Halos.
That's
so.
fair. I still need to play through 1 and 2 actually, and 4.
Have you never played 1?
I've played it. I've never finished it.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
As long as you got to the big twist that everybody loves.
The
flood?
I have never gotten there personally, but I know of it.
Really? Oh man, it's so good. And I know that when we get to Halo Reach, we're gonna do the 4-player like legendary campaign because we're playing on heroic.
Oh fuck yeah, cool.
Yeah.
Duratier says hi, boo.
Hello.
Like other.
Well,
yes. Sorry. Let me.
I was gonna say sorry. So we're talking about tone, right?
Yes, we're talking about tone. We're talking about establishing tone.
Mm-hmm.
And so far through this video that we've gone through, took him a while to say session 0. Didn't say session 0 specifically, but we got there. So you know, it's been. I mean, and I've agreed with basically everything the guy said so far. You know.
Okay.
So he's been pretty good.
Yeah.
Like other points in Star Wars, was the Republic really as good as people claimed? It seems a lot of problems came from it repeating the same mistakes, overlooking certain problems, or being unprepared. See, this is the thing. I have no idea, because the Republic was... Who knows, dude? The Republic, if you mean before the Empire took over, then maybe, yeah. They're probably not as good as they were, you know. Well, this is the other thing. I understand that in those kinds of things, in a galactic republic, a galactic empire, quote unquote, it's some things you're gonna fall through the cracks. Absolutely.
Yeah.
What are you gonna do at some points? Like, you literally have smugglers and shit and all this kind of like crime. You have the Hutts who are like, we're crime, you know. So obviously it's gonna be a bunch of bad stuff, but at least they weren't obliterating planets, okay?
Yeah.
But I agree that you can have, like, corruption in the Republic from before the Empire even was a thing sounds great. Like, it's the beginnings of the Empire, right? It's where you have those shades of gray inside it itself, where you can explore, like, this is the good side, quote unquote, but
yeah,
it's got this seedy underbelly, which is really fun.
And I mean, the thing is, the Hutts, like, for all their negative influence, they did put Carrie Fisher into a golden chainmail bikini. So I mean,
that's true.
That's a fairly good attempt at making peace.
Right. Now, that's not to say it's a way around encounters or anything. This isn't a cheat mechanism for players. It's
right. So this was he was talking about the you know, holding up a card or doing the X motion for that way that people have for signaling that they don't want to take part in certain stuff that's happening in a TTRPG, right?
Yes.
Which again, if that works for you, good. I remember, and I'm sure that we've talked about before, we'd rather not have it just like be something that we just halt the game for, you know, and change it.
Yeah,
we want to talk about it.
Yeah, we talk about it in a session 0, so that way it's just not in there to begin with.
Yeah, that, and like if something comes up, because we've said it before, something could come up, you know, in game that they didn't realize that they just can't handle.
Yeah, it could awaken something in you, you know.
Exactly. In which case you can text them, you can take them aside, you know, all that kind of stuff. Where if you need to stop the game, you should stop the game and like figure it out and then, you know, keep going. But for all intents and purposes, you want it to just keep flowing.
Yeah.
Before the Empire took over, do you mean Disney or the dark side? Yes. I don't see the difference. Well, this is the same image before me.
Yeah.
It's an opportunity for them to flag up stuff that's upsetting and tweak it so that everybody can continue. If, for example, the players got attacked by giant spiders, but one of the players was severely phobic, they could pause the game, talk about that phobia, and then it's really not much of an issue for the DM to swap out the spider for some other creature. The stats don't even need to change, it's just not a spider. anymore. Now, as even veteran
Well, it depends
GMs
on
will
whether or
tell-
not spiders are an important part of your campaign. That's the problem. So, like, if you're fighting, I don't know, if you're fighting against Lolth or something,
Right, yeah.
where you're in the Underdark and you're fighting Dark Elves, they have spiders.
Yeah.
So sometimes it wouldn't really make sense, unfortunately.
This is why we say, do it beforehand. Talk to them beforehand. Go like, hey, you have anything that you super don't want to deal with before we start playing? If you do, wow, let's not do that. And if you don't, wow, let's just keep going.
Yeah.
Part of me is
another
now...
thing you could... Oh, sorry.
Oh, sorry. Go on.
Another thing you could do is, if you're in that situation where something has come up and you didn't expect it to be a problem and you want it to be changed but it can't, you can always say that, oh shit, this can't be changed. Okay, then my character is going to go and like run and hide because they're afraid of spiders.
Yeah.
That way you actually, again, don't have to deal with it. And it's also a character moment.
Yeah, could be.
It would suck for the group because now you're not helping, but it's at least, you know, like, I'll help. I can heal you from afar, or I can shoot them, but I don't want to get up close. I don't want to see them, you know.
Yeah, totally. True. Yet, did you know the Republic went genocidal thearchy once? Oh, a human-centric religion called Pius Dea legally took charge of the Republic and for 100 years ran crusades to wipe out aliens. Oh, the Emperor of Man.
Yeah.
That's neat.
My Games Workshop.
Yeah, I know. I was like, oh, hey. I didn't know that. No. I don't. Is that extended universe stuff? Because I wouldn't know about that.
Plus, if it is, it's not canon anymore.
Yup. Disney.
Yeah. God damn it.
The first session of a tabletop RPG can be a little stop-start, a bit hesitant, and there's a good chance it'll also be fairly inconsistent. This is all perfectly normal and it's nothing to worry about. It takes time to get used to a new set of characters and to work out what they're like, and that includes any character you yourself might have created and are playing. Even if you have a really good idea of what a character is like and how they're likely to behave in most situations, you might find yourself in the middle of a session feeling like it's not quite right. And that's absolutely fine. It's okay to tweak your character after the fact and to have an open discussion about why you want to do it. Maybe your character turned out to be less trusting than you intended. Perhaps some quirk you gave them during character creation isn't as much fun as you thought it might be and you want to swap it for something else. Or maybe you feel like your character was actually too laid back and you wish they'd reacted more strongly to a particular situation or stimulus. The point is, you're allowed to try and fix things about your character that you aren't happy with, either through story beats or simply holding your hands up and saying, hey, I would like to make a change, I think it would make for a better game. In fact, it's good to keep talking about the campaign in general as it goes on, in order to make sure it's hitting the notes everybody is expecting it to. Sometimes the players are keen to talk about their characters' backstories, but they haven't been given much of a chance. Perhaps there's an overall feeling the party is too quick to kill their enemies, and that they value the lives of others too cheaply. Perhaps they've managed to get past every obstacle thus far without serious harm, and they want to know what it's like to really be fighting for their lives. Or maybe they just did some social stealth and they really enjoyed it, and actually they'd just like to let everybody know that they're open to more of that in the future. I'll stress that
they did some more social stealth? Is that what he said?
Yeah.
What is social stealth?
I assume getting through an encounter purely socially.
That's
or
a very
like
strange term for that.
Yeah, I don't know. I'm not entirely sure. I'm trying to...
Chat, what does social stealth mean?
Maybe. But, so, yeah, I have no idea. If somebody could let us know, please.
Yeah.
So, overall, I agree with what he's saying, but I also think that there's a time and place for a lot of it, right?
There is.
Like, during during an encounter, so there's also many thoughts. So
Yes.
First off, if too much time has passed, obviously I don't think we can retcon it too much.
Yeah, not that hard.
Right. If your character needs a severe change, talk to your DM about it, like, after or before. Because then we can kind of work through that and figure it out. If, again, with the going through a different, like, play style, after, before. During feels weird. Because it's like, you could be, like, have already gotten through that. Well, okay, maybe not so weird, now that I'm thinking about it, because then you go, like, you kind of are at a moment where you're after, like, what you've just done, and go, oh, that was really great, I could do more, like, that'd be cool to do more, right? Like, that would be fine, you know, but as long as we're not, like, a while away, and in the middle of, like, a fight, and you go, man, I don't like fighting, I'd rather be doing X, you know?
Yeah, no, I don't think anybody would do it that way.
Right. I know. I'm just saying, I don't know. It's weird.
Yeah, there definitely needs to be enough time between important moments to do that. You can't be like, oh man, we just defeated the king. Now I want to immediately change. Because depending on your personality, the way you defeated the king may have some sort of story thing. Like if you guys are an asshole and you decided to, like, strip the king naked and drag him out in front of the people and then tar and pitch him.
Right.
You know, and, like, make a big show out of it, as opposed to a good character who would just be like, hey, we're arresting you. Coup. Like, gentle coup. Yeah. Get the hell out of here.
There are degrees here of change that we can do.
And so you can't be like, hey, I was just a gigantic asshole and now the whole nation knows about it, but now I want to not be.
Right. In that case, just retire your character and be a be a little bitch. Little bitch. No.
Can't face the consequences of your actions.
You're gonna ruin my shit and then run away, are you? Well, guess what? Your character is getting hunted down by the king. Well, the former king, who now has all of his followers that are still loyal to him, hunting you down. You know.
It's like, if you wanna do that, that's fine, but the king's gonna be back in power.
Yeah, exactly. Like,
not the best.
It is EU, but it was 11,000 years before Yavin. It's so far back and not related to the main story. I don't care if it's canon or not. Oh, fair enough then. Yeah. Well, even so, who knows? Whatever. But that's cool. Yeah. You have severe arachnophobia, and yet you said nothing when we agreed to run a campaign on the Spider Queen. I'm not mad, just disappointed.
Yeah,
exactly. Right? Yeah. Hey, our main antagonist is probably going to be, like, spiders or something. Oh, okay, that sounds cool.
Yeah, it's like, 2 weeks later. Yeah, I lied.
I just lied to your face.
Yeah, I lied. This is awful. No, not because it's not you. It's me.
It's literally. I thought I could handle it. At that point, I'd be like, oh, okay. You thought you could handle it in the game, sure. But if you can't even handle it in the game, then I guess we'll figure it out.
Yeah, then that's a very, very severe phobia of spiders.
We'll see how it works, I guess.
Yeah. How do you live a normal life knowing that there's a spider not 5 feet from you at all times, and that you swallow 10 spiders every day?
That's fake.
I know. But they probably believe it.
Well, if they're that arachnophobic, then probably.
Yeah.
It's basically not standing out in public. Oh, okay. So literally just wait. So then you just don't, like, do anything in public?
What,
in the sense of, like, anything
in public?
Social
social
stealth.
Okay.
Like, I understand that I thought it meant something specific, because if it's just, oh, you don't do anything to draw attention to yourself while you're in public, then it's like, oh, that's every day.
Yeah.
Unless
I'm really stealthy then.
Yeah, unless you're, like, the only time where the public should be concerned is when you have to do something, like a job for somebody else in the public.
Yeah.
Like, that would actually, like, maybe
That's weird.
I don't know. If that's the case, then fly casually. Exactly.
Like these are not an excuse to have a dig at the GM or any of the other players.
Oh, okay.
If
He
there
already
are
said that.
genuine
Nice.
grievances around the table, then they should be dealt with separately and specifically.
There you go.
Rather, talking about the overall tone of the campaign is a good way to make sure it stays in the sweet spot, ensuring everybody is having as much fun as possible.
Actually, you know what?
Feedback? Feedback, everybody, please. Could you give me a drop of feedback?
No, it's fine. It's fine.
No, you're actively taking away the moisture.
I know. That actually happened to me. I made that mistake, and it was for during Devils and Dice, actually. Oh. Where part of the reason that Brogan retired his first character, Muzzle, spoilers if you haven't seen it, he retired his first character because the way he was playing him, he was trying to play him as like a Sasuke type character.
Yeah, that's right.
You know, where he was like grumbling and always in the corners like, God, I'm so much better than all of you. You know, it's like, why am I even here?
Yeah.
That kind of bullshit. Yeah. And he did it because, you know, I said that it was an anime inspired campaign.
Right.
But I never really explained that the tone was not going to really be that, and it was far more goofy. There were serious moments, but the vast majority of the campaign was far more lighthearted. And he's like, sure. This character doesn't actually really fit because I thought it was going to be more like a shonen anime.
Right.
And so that was actually entirely my fault and my bad. But in the end, he made more characters that he enjoys significantly more now. So exactly. It worked out in the end. And I mean, Muzzle is still a character, but yes. Yeah.
That's right, and we still pester him every now and again.
Yeah, and so that's fun to have him be like, you know, just this guy you go and annoy. But yeah, that was a big mistake on my part, I feel.
Yeah, it was a horrible, bad mistake. God.
Yeah, you don't have to agree that much, dude. You're supposed to say, no, it was fine.
No, oh, right. Sorry. I'm supposed to give you no moisture whatsoever. No, it's fine. Yeah.
Why would I want that?
Improvement? I don't understand the word.
What do you mean improvement? You said it was fine. Doesn't need to be improved.
Exactly.
So, if you hadn't already gathered, the guiding principle of setting the tone in a tabletop RPG is discussing the type of game everybody wants to play,
Discourse?
Supporting that tone while playing, and checking in every now and then to see that everyone is still having fun.
Oh.
It's easy enough to do, and overall it makes for a much more enjoyable game all round. Role-playing, as I said before, is a collaborative exercise after all, even if one player is driving the vast majority of the action. And everybody should have a stake in the overall direction the group takes. And that's about it, really. Hopefully you found this video interesting and useful. If you have any tips of your own for establishing tone in an RPG, whether that's creative use of music or props or anything else, to be perfectly honest, do let us know in the comments below. Hopefully you enjoyed this video. If you did, there are loads more from Dicebreaker for you to watch. Some of them should be on screen now, so do give one of those a click. Do like, subscribe, and ring the bell icon so you don't miss anything else from us, but most importantly, thank you very much for watching, and have a lovely day.
I like his channel name, Dicebreaker.
Yeah, their whole channel is pretty neat. I haven't watched too much else of it, but it seems good. They've done a bunch of like actual plays and stuff, and they do these, and yeah, cool. Dicebreaker, another solid video.
Yeah.
Meh, the video was fine. Yeah, exactly. It was fine. Yeah. So honestly, easy. That was tone is such an easy thing to talk about.
Yes.
I will say that I'm pretty sure that some of that length of that video was because he was doing the video essay voice, where you take some pauses every now and again to really emphasize that point. But it's very noticeable. But
Yeah, no, I know that.
But it's, you know, it's whatever. It's just how people do their thing, and it doesn't bother me as much usually.
Because there is a purpose behind it usually.
Usually, but it's also one of those things that it's just like,
Yeah.
I'd probably also add that music also helps with tone in the moment. Yes, absolutely it can. Playing a track is good.
I used a little bit of music when we were playing Delta Green last time, or Astatine.
Yeah.
Encountered the
I still haven't posted that. I just remembered.
Oh shit.
Fuck.
When we didn't do anything.
No, never.
Yeah, when we didn't do anything, I was playing music from the Metro series.
That's right.
And it was specifically the song A Night in the Marshes, I think it was.
Yeah.
And that's a really good one for that kind of a situation.
Yeah.
And that really helped because I recommended it to everybody else, and like, oh yeah, let's do it.
Yeah, I wish I could have done it too.
Yeah, Aiden and Brogan have kind of gotten out of doing a lot of music when we play.
Yeah,
so I just recommended
like
it.
It's fair enough.
Yeah,
I wish I could do more music, but the problem is copyright. You know.
Yeah,
and considering we usually do stuff for, you know, the show, it's but
yeah.
It is what it is at that point, you know. You also use Sly Cooper music in Devils and Dice. That's true.
We did indeed, and that was really good for that moment.
That was a great time.
Yeah, we did that stealth.
Fuck, I need to play through those games again. It's so good.
Mm-hmm.
It's been a while since I've done it again.
I would have to whip out my PlayStation 2 and
yeah, same. Shit. Yeah. Or emulator.
Oh yeah, that too.
Yeah. But anyway, so that was the first video. And hey, we have a proper midpoint now. Wow, I can do the thing. So, hey, if you're here and you're new, well, this is the midpoint where we do shoutouts and shilling.
Yeah. And if you're new here, that means you're probably not a member. But if you were a member, you'd be a part of the shoutout and shill shit. So consider joining and donating money, because that's pretty much all we're concerned with.
Oh God, no!
Aiden's not here, man.
I know. Somebody's got to do it. Okay, so, that being said, obviously that is not the primary concern of the show. God. So thank you to all of you for hanging out. We'll be moving on to the next video shortly, but of course we must talk about our lovely patrons, because they give us money, and so they deserve to have a moment in the sun, if you will.
That's why we record these podcasts at night.
That's true. So you'll never be in the sun. Actually, that's not too bad. So
fuck the sun.
Yeah, I hate it.
The moon doesn't give you skin cancer.
That's true. Anyway, so patrons, hey, you give us money, I say your name. If you're $5,
fair trade.
It is a thing, and you will also
I know.
You will also, once we have the dice, the custom dice that are being worked towards, every donation is being worked towards, you will be getting a free set once it comes around. So, that being said, thank you to Draco Kraken at tier 4. Thank you. Mog Zero at tier 4. Thank you. Slazer at tier 4. Thank you. Steely at tier 4. Thank you as well. I've just realized Steely isn't here. He didn't make it to our first episode of the year. Oh my god.
Unless he's gonna make it later.
He might make it later. And if he sees the VOD, then he can leave a comment and be like, I was here.
Yeah.
It'll be fine. Drake Cross at tier 3. Thank you so much. Chris at tier 2. Thank you as well. Lux at tier 2. You've been in the chat as well. You and Slazer and and Draco Kraken, you've all been in there. So thank you. Lux, thank you. Frozen Spaghetti at tier 2, thank you as well. And finally, last but not least, Kill Chrono at tier 2. Thank you so much.
The thing that I'm actually somewhat genuinely surprised by is the fact that not that we've had people donate. Well, that is surprising, but
I know.
It's the fact that none of them have left.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
Because they've been doing it, and there's never been a point where they're like, fuck it.
Yeah. No, it's super appreciated.
I probably would have said, fuck it at some point. But that's because I'm poor.
Right. I feel that. But yeah, thank you to all of you. You're keeping the dice train moving. It is chugging along.
Yeah.
So thanks. Another thing, if you're out there and you want to donate, you can also do it through the chat. By putting in an ! donate using the command there. You can also donate on our website through a donate button over on the support us page, I think. That's the part of the website there. There's a direct donation to our PayPal. Other than that, one other thing. I did change the sound effect for donations on the stream. It is now a dice rolling sound effect, and not to incentivize it too much, but there is also a text-to-speech that will activate at a certain donation amount. It is kind of high, though, because I don't want it to be, like, all the time when somebody donates. We get text-to-speech happening, because the other guys can't hear it. I will hear it, and the stream will hear it. But,
what does it say?
It's just, it'll read out whatever their message is.
It's that. Okay.
Yeah,
nice.
it's that kind of thing. And so that will occur at a certain point. I don't expect anyone to get there, and I don't expect you to ever find it. So don't donate too much. God, please. If you donate like a lot, I will not know what to do with myself, and I will be upset.
So basically what you're saying is, I've buried a secret in the thing that can only be found by donating money.
Yes.
But don't donate.
Yes, I am doing that because I understand that there is an incentive there that I should promote, but I also don't like that I should promote it. Mm-hmm. I have this very bad thing of like, oh, we need the money for the dice, but I also don't want you to give us too much, you know?
Yeah, right.
Like, because it'll feel weird. Anyway, so that's a thing. Other than that, of course, you can go over to TeePublic, get our one design, because I did it. I took away the old one. You can never get it. Unless I bring it back for some reason if people want it. But that'll be way later in the future, maybe.
Yeah.
Maybe. But the new design, the new logo, that is a percentage of it goes towards the artist who made it with every purchase. So go get a t-shirt or a mug or fucking whatever, a fucking poster, a pin, a magnet, who knows?
Oh my God.
So many choices. There's laptop cases.
Shit.
Yeah, do it. Get a onesie for your baby.
Oh God.
With all of us on it. I don't know. It's weird.
Yeah, that is weird. Why did you do that?
That's just one of the options. I don't know. It's there.
Okay. So you didn't choose like, let's make it a onesie as well.
I could take it. Yeah, I could take it off, I guess, if I wanted to, but it's there.
That's a good idea.
Nobody will buy it. It's fine.
Someone's gonna fucking buy it because you said no one's gonna buy it.
No one will buy it. Anyway, so the other thing, of course, for this shilling and shouting out is that we are partnered with Humble Bundle. You can use our link. It will be in the description, as well as there's a Humble, like a Humble thing in the chat, as well as on our Discord. You can find all this shit wherever. And you can go and buy stuff through that link on Humble, and you support us, and you support Humble as well, and Tabletop Alliance, the charity that uses tabletop stuff to grow communities and help people and all that shit. Which their information, a link to them is in the description as well of the video. So, yeah, that's, you know, there's also the Pathfinder thing is still there for like 3 more days as of this, so it'll be gone by the time the VOD comes up, all that stuff.
What happened?
Draco Kraken. So new goal, obtain baby so I can buy a onesie. Oh god. Stop.
Yeah, no, don't do that.
Don't do that. It's not worth it.
It's really not.
You can just buy it for a teddy bear, okay? Something. Like, you don't have to go through getting a whole baby. Oh my god.
Well, okay, at least the baby making process is at least somewhat entertaining.
Well, yeah, that's true.
But I mean, you know, it's not worth it in the end.
Anyway, so that's all that. How, you know, do what you will with all of that information that I've just spewed forth for you to listen to in your ear holes. And we will move on to the next video, which is also about setting the tone. And it's an old video from How to Be a Great GM.
Oh boy.
It's like a 5 or 6 year old video. I don't know.
So it could be one of his spicy ones.
It could be a more spicy one.
Spicy.
Who knows?
Whatever.
Who knows how it is? Oh, that's so loud. God.
That's very loud. Jesus.
Why is it so loud? Okay.
I don't know.
So
no, it's Ainsley Harriet. My bad.
New mission, Steel Baby. There's Pizza.
There
Frog.
we go.
You got it.
You're doing yourself a service, us a service, and the parents a service.
Oh no, I hate this. All right. So, oh, that's still up. Whoops. Let me get that out of there really quick so we can get to good old guy and his look at how to create tone using different techniques for your role-playing games.
Okay.
Exciting. Here we go. Still very loud. God.
Still so loud.
Hello and welcome to this episode of How to Be a Great GM. We are of course looking at tone. That amazing ability for us to conjure up using a few simple techniques the sense of evil and foreboding, or perhaps merriment and enjoyment, or perhaps something a little bit more heroic. Sure. Either way, this session we're going to look at the 3 main components which, in my opinion, will help you create the most amazing different types of tone in your game, and we're going to look at whether or not you should change your tone in a single session. So let's kick off. What exactly is tone? You might have heard about people talking about tone, and perhaps you have a smattering of what tone is.
I do.
But if you were to put it into words, what would you say?
It's the general feeling that you want to prevail through your game.
That is and the yeah, I agree. Yeah.
Yeah. Is there an adult size onesie for a Tingle cosplay? Oh my god. No. Thank fuck. Okay. That'd be really funny to see, honestly, yeah. But please don't ever.
Is humor a tone? Is dark a tone? Is majestic a tone?
Yes, all can
In my
be.
opinion, they're all tones.
Yeah.
Tone really just describes the feeling or the general atmosphere that the players and yourself will be experiencing during a particular set of or session of tone.
Basically
so if you have a horrific tone where everything around every corner is preparing to strike.
I will say though that this does make me think that he's saying that it's more of a session to session basis. Which is interesting because
I don't know if that's I think he just kind of honestly it seemed kind of like a misspeak there.
Maybe. Regardless if he's saying that it's interesting because I feel like you can have, even in your overarching tone, you can have certain sessions be different tonally.
Oh, absolutely. You can have like a shifting, malleable tone.
Absolutely.
It's just you have to make sure that it's not whiplashing.
Yes, exactly. Although I would say that sometimes that can be very effective.
Yes.
Considering something like a horror setting, where you're going for a horrific kind of thing, where you have everything being hunky-dory, actually kind of fun and nice, and then having it be, oh, fuck! Right?
But I mean, that's honestly how most horror movies do it, where everything starts out fine and then the horror happens.
Exactly, which is why I'm saying, like, that's a very easy way to kind of implement it, you know?
Yeah.
In that kind of way. It's not, always necessary, and sometimes it's not even called for in some cases, but it is something that can be incredibly easy to set up and kind of
do.
Yes.
And you're not entirely sure where that murderer is. Is he behind me? He's behind me. Is it perhaps humorous, in which case he's behind me holding a wet fish? Is it perhaps more majestic, and perhaps it's more heroic, in which case we are off to slay the dragon? Tone is entirely up to you, and as we've been unpacking settings, there go my notes, as we've been unpacking settings, we've been looking at how tone starts to change our opinion of the setting. In high fantasy, we saw how you could have a very high magic tone, or you could have a very low magic tone. In science fiction, we spoke about this tone of optimism, or tone of grittiness, or grime.
Interesting. So
I would consider high or low magic to be a tone.
Yeah, that's what I was going to say. Setting. Yeah, that seems more like just how your world building is.
Yeah, that's not tone.
I think
that's like saying that New York being industrial is a tone. It's not. Right. It's just the state of the city.
I think it can inspire tone.
Yes,
but
it can.
I don't think it is necessarily a tone.
Yeah, it's not.
Yeah. Madoka Magica is a great example of tonal whiplash used well. See,
that's a good point.
That everybody says that, and I know of that, and I have yet to see it, but yes.
Yeah. It is perfectly fine.
I'm sure it is.
Yeah.
And there are a whole lot others. There's, and excuse me looking down, but there is humorous, as I have said. There is sad. And I'm not talking the melancholic depression of an overacting character. Of
course.
I'm talking about genuinely sad moments.
Yeah, like my thumbnail that I made with the Sag. Everybody knows that feel.
Yeah.
Maybe he means whimsy? In regards to...
In relation to what?
In relation to
the magic?
Yeah, if he means in relation to magic, then yes, I would say whimsy is a tone.
Yes, that is a tone. Whimsical? Yes, absolutely.
Like, high fantasy is associated with whimsy, I would say.
Unless it's Dark Souls.
Yeah. Well, I wouldn't say Dark Souls is too high.
Yeah, it's not high fantasy.
Yeah, I would say
it's grim fantasy.
Yeah,
it's like dark fantasy. It's
grim
not high
dark fantasy.
But
yeah, if that's what he means, then yes, I agree. But again, using high fantasy and low fantasy as the word that you're trying to say for tone, I think is less correct. I think it can be used to give a general idea, but also I would say that I would argue that saying high fantasy could mean fucking 40K. In a way. It's not entirely high fantasy, mind you, but it is so much higher than fucking a lot of other fantasy settings can be. Like Traveler is like super realistic.
That's sci-fi,
I think, right?
Yeah. That's full sci-fi.
Exactly.
Well, there's psionics, but yeah.
Yeah. Well, so there are technically in Warhammer as well, right?
Oh, like, yeah. No. I was saying, I was going to say, when we were talking about Traveler, I was going to say there's no magic, but I corrected myself before I even said it.
Oh, okay. I didn't know there was
psionics.
psionic in that. That's neat.
Yep, there is.
So, but like, I would say with all the sci-fi stuff, I mean, sci-fi is science fiction, but it's also like kind of science fantasy, I would say, because of a lot of the elements of like fucking, I don't know, they're fucking orcs. And they're
that's kind of a mix.
It
really.
is a big mix, but it is definitely more sci-fi than fantasy, I would say.
Yes, because I would say once technology starts to outweigh magic, that's when it starts becoming sci-fi for me, especially when you're going into space.
Yeah, true.
Because you can go into space in like D&D and stuff and other games like that with like a Spelljammer ship, but because that's more like a wooden galleon that can fly through space, as far as I can remember.
Yeah,
that always still feels like fantasy to me.
True. Yeah, I guess Starfinder would be my closest to high fantasy, but also with sci-fi elements.
Yeah, I was actually going to bring up Starfinder as well, because I know that they have magic. They have all these other races. They've got spaceships, and magic and other fantasy elements are still very much there.
Yes, yeah. So, I guess what my original point was, I could argue that a high fantasy thing could be incredibly grimdark.
Oh, yeah.
And so, like, saying high fantasy or saying low fantasy is not necessarily itself a tone.
Yeah, it's a setting.
Yes.
Moments where the heroes have not succeeded, and where perhaps they have let down the quest that they're on.
Sag.
It has caused someone to die.
Oh no.
I am also talking about hectic tones, where everything is moving and going, and what are you doing? And you've got to run because the ceiling's collapsing and everything is about to cave in, and if you don't make that decision right now, what are you doing? I'm talking about a hectic tone.
Okay.
Or if you're chasing a cat.
Yeah, exactly.
You're chasing a cat to good music. That's copyright.
Yeah.
Damn it.
A sick tone, where you are literally repulsed by the words that are oozing out of the mouth of the narrator, or that your fellow characters are sticking their hands or their fingers or stepping in. So tone really allows you to explore a whole range of emotive spaces, which will just elevate your game out of the ordinary. You walk around the corner and the man wearing a mask is standing there. He raises his dagger, which is covered in blood, and screams.
Well, that's a tone. That's deadpan.
Yes.
At you. That's not tone. That's called monotone. And whether you are a...
So it's one tone then.
Come on, yeah, I was gonna say monotone, my man, monotone. I understand what you mean. It's not. It's not full of anything other than.
There's no emotion to it.
Yeah, exactly.
Public speaker, whether you are a scriptwriter, whether you are a GM, if you are monotone, unfortunately, you need to work on your voice first before you can ever even think about becoming a great GM.
Unless you're doing a robot.
Yeah, you'd be doing a robot.
So like if you are playing as a Warforged, or maybe somebody who has gone psycho.
Oh yeah, true.
You know.
Yeah.
Obviously, I put a little bit more effort into the cyber psycho guy, but you get the idea.
Yeah, exactly.
Because you have those weird. That's when you take monotonous, just in different ways, where you're monotonous and you're low and with no emotion, and then suddenly into hyper emotion, and you just go back and forth and all around with that. That's still monotone. You're just using those two tones together and mixing them.
Yeah, I don't know if I would necessarily call it monotone in that case. I feel like I would call it just unique, like quirky. I don't know, like not like in a bad way, obviously, but like it is itself a little bit.
It's more than monotone.
Yeah, it's more than monotone, absolutely.
Yeah.
Monotone is death.
Oh,
okay.
What'd you? Huh?
No, it's not. Anyway, so Once we've identified tone, how do we establish it? Well, I've been showing you how to do it all along in this video. And there are a few things that you can use. First up is language. Now, there's a wonderful moment in that wonderful Disney movie called The Little Mermaid, where Ursula, the octopus hybrid witch queen of the sea, talks to Ariel about the importance of body language, and she does all sorts of wonderful stuff. It's a great moment. True. Body language is as important as the words you use to describe your tone.
I would say that you putting your hands in front of you so much to really emphasize your words is part of your body language, to tell me that you're trying to get me to understand that this is important.
Now, one of the problems, I know this video was made a very long time ago, like 5 years ago, before the halcyon days of COVID-19. But unfortunately, doing body language is significantly less effective now unless you have a group that can actually meet in person.
Or like video chat, I guess.
Yeah, if you can video chat while you play and you can do your body language, then that's fine. But if you can't, and you're like us who don't do video, it's less useful.
Yeah, absolutely. A great GM. Did Scott step into the video? Is this a bullet point?
Oh shit.
No. That's no.
Thankfully, no.
God, no, please. I'm not ready for another one yet. It's already the start of the year. I didn't want to start off with Garibay. God.
Well, hey,
if
you start off with Garibay, that means that the year can only improve.
Oh, that is true.
Unless we do more Garibay, in which case it goes back down.
Yeah.
So, yes, there are other videos out there that talk about tone in terms of your words, using dark words and lowering the tone of your voice. The way you manipulate the sounds that come out of your mouth and the words you choose definitely helps set tone.
Yeah.
If it's a light, merry day, you're not going to be describing it as, "It is a wonderful, merry day." And
oh, dude, I would love that, though.
I know, me too.
Great. Like, you just have this guy who's narrating.
The festival is proceeding very, very well. Children are frolicking through the streets.
Just like, and you can see that the guy is just angry the entire time that they're talking about it. Oh man,
and you know what's funny? I could actually see that working in like an evil campaign. Where
totally.
You're getting like a mission from your guy or whoever, and he's like, "God, fuck these happy peasants. They're frolicking through the streets, beautiful. Fuck birdsong. Go kill them." You know?
Yeah, exactly.
That would be hilarious.
Be really funny.
Yeah.
Everyone is having fun. The children are laughing, and the women are smiling, and men are just horny. I don't know what men would be if they were happy. Anyway.
We're already on that path, are we?
Yeah.
This is definitely old guy.
And the alcohol tastes like semen.
Exactly.
God damn it. Because horror or happy, I don't know.
I don't know how men are when they're happy. It's like, okay.
I've never actually been no.
Yeah, exactly. I'm just like, I don't know. We just like
singing,
pretty cool, you know, just hanging out.
Tavern.
Tavern sing, or like, you know, arm in arm with their wives and going down the road or just like enjoying the day in general.
Nope.
Horny.
That's it.
That's it. I don't know how to do it.
Yep.
Anyway.
Yeah, I know how to do it. I am horny.
Goddamn. Now I wish we'd gotten Vincent Price reading something like The Hungry Caterpillar. Oh, dude. That would have been great. Oh man, Vincent Price. Great voice.
Rip.
Yeah, rip.
Anyway, the point is, using your voice creates a certain amount of tone. Using words creates a certain amount of tone. And what type of words you use to create happiness, sadness, depression, those are words that are coming out of your vocabulary. Do not try and use words you don't understand. If there is a word that you come across in a book, if you are reading, Murray, I hope you're listening, if you are reading, then, and you don't understand it, go and learn about it. Go and try and understand it. If there is a word that is used in a film and you don't understand it, add it to your dictionary. The more words you have, the better the tone is that you can describe. But my main point about tone and language is about your body language. So often I find that GMs just sit there and they talk and they read their book and they do this and that and the next thing.
I will say something about body language and actually like using it even if you're not visible. Sometimes it can come through, like in the sense of your actions really help with like how you're conveying your voice. Yeah. And so like if you're very excited and you're like kind of bouncing around, you can kind of hear that in a voice. Yeah. Like it can help even without that whole video aspect. So I feel like it's still important to kind of try to embody the character.
Oh yeah. I was just saying that's not as useful.
Yeah, it's not something that's as helpful nowadays, unfortunately, unless you're absolutely...
Again, unless you have a group that plays.
Yeah,
like in person.
But I think it can still be something that can help.
Yeah.
Especially if you're having trouble kind of conveying how you want your character to be known. Maybe acting out your character a little more will help a lot more. Who knows?
Not me.
They don't adopt the posture of the thing that they are describing. If they have a terrified peasant who's furtive and speaks in short gasps because everything that is around them is causing them to panic and stutter a little bit because they're so terrified of this thing that was in the woods. So by using your body language, you can really help create a sense of tone. If it's a casual evening and everyone is having fun and it's a grand event, use grand body language. Stretch out to make the sense of just how big this event is. Body language is so important, especially because a lot of this game is played seated. So how do you convey that? Use your hands, use your face, use your mouth, use the shape of your words. If you are being heroic, and the way you want to be heroic is you fill your chest with air and you puff it out nice and full. You use your ribs to breathe in and out, and you're just sitting straight up because you are being heroic. If you are a heroic king and you want to impart a sense of majesty, a sense of importance in this scene, slow your tone down a little bit. Use bigger, more opulent words to describe the scene of a king bowing down in front of his queen, presenting this long-lost sword. Again, an example of body language, tone, the words I'm using, the way I'm using my voice. All of that is language. So language is a very powerful tool. What's next, you might ask? Well, I'm going to save one which I think you might find quite unusual for last.
Okay.
The next one that we look at, before we get on to the last one, is the setting.
Yes.
Now, you don't have to be crazy like me and paint your entire games room to look like a dungeon and then stick up stuff all over the place. Not all of us have the luxury of doing that. But we all do have the luxury of controlling the light that's in this room.
Oh, okay. We're talking about in like real life setting. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, that can help. I don't find it to be something that I deal with too much, but I would if I could, you know, like it's one of those things where if I had the funds, I would totally build like a gaming room, right? Where I could have like LED lights that I could have a remote for and go, ooh, here we go. You know, now it's darker, now it's lighter.
It's nighttime now.
Yeah, it's nighttime, shuts lights off.
That would be hilarious, actually. What time is it? It's nighttime now.
But yeah, that'd be cool. I don't know what else other than light though you could really work with. because reliably, I guess.
Yeah, reliably and affordably.
Yeah, because I have some stuff. Like, I have these little bottles, because I like interesting looking bottles.
Okay.
And so I have little glass bottles that I want to at some point put some resin in and some dye so that I can make like little potion bottles, right?
Nice.
And like have those as just a prop to have every now and again, and maybe even actually incorporate it of like, here, you can have a potion, right? Like that'd be neat.
Yeah.
But that, again, costly and also not gonna be a thing that everyone does, right?
Yeah.
So lights, but I guess this would also be like music I would put, because you can probably play something on your phone.
Yeah.
At this day and age, phone speakers aren't shit, you know?
Not anymore, anyway. Yeah.
Yeah, so I feel like that could help with it, but
Yeah, that's an easy one.
yeah, other than that, I'm not really thinking of
Not much is coming to
anything.
mind.
Yeah. Set mood lighting up in a public place and then ask why. Say it's my God-given duty as a DM to set the tone. Yes, that's true.
Hell yeah, dude.
I will do that every time now.
Go to your game store and be like, hey, we're doing a sex scene. Can we have some better lighting? That would actually be fucking hysterical.
Yeah.
You're playing it. Maybe it's by adding an extra light stand or by removing a light stand. If you want to play a dark horror, do this kind of lighting where the light is beneath you so that it creates these weird, ominous shadows. If it's a happy scene, have lots of light. If you can't control the light, well, then perhaps you can control the rest of the atmosphere. And you can't see them now, but I've just finished installing speakers throughout this entire room so that I can play music during my sessions.
Hell yeah, dude!
Music that I control through modern day technology, but which I use to manipulate the tone of the scene. Oh my God. And soundtracks are great, and I think I've handled soundtracks before in a previous episode, so go and look for that. But you can collect them. You can pick them up for practically nothing these days if you buy the good old-fashioned CDs. Those of you who use Mac, I'm afraid you don't have CD players anymore, so you're going to have to ask someone who's got a real computer to copy the files.
So with a real computer!
Fucking spicy. Like it.
I mean, you're not wrong, but
Yeah.
that's funny.
That's good.
Wow. You know what? Fucking based. Fucking based guy take right there.
It is true. Oh my God.
I'm bringing it back a little bit.
Okay.
Oh, that's funny.
That's good.
Holy
Good
shit. Okay.
Pick them up for practically nothing these days if you buy the good old-fashioned CDs. Those of you who use Mac, I'm afraid you don't have CD players anymore, so you're going to have to ask someone who's got a real computer to copy the files onto your iPod or iPad or iThing. So...
Jesus.
I just wanted him to go through the whole thing. That's
I know.
super funny.
That's
Shots fired.
Yeah, dude. Dude, no, shots fired, ship sunk.
It's just like, man,
Yeah.
I mean, you're not wrong, which is so funny.
I know. It's really good.
Cause like even the fucking like iPhone now, they took away headphones, dude.
Well, yeah, they gotta do AirPods.
It's so dumb.
How else are they supposed to sell them?
I know.
By making it the only thing
The
that they
only
have.
option.
Yeah.
It's just, oh man. Okay.
That's really good. That's good shit.
Holy cow, my current PC doesn't have a disk drive. That aged weirdly. Yeah, mine doesn't either, actually.
Mine doesn't either. I had to get an external one.
I know, yeah, I need to get an external one. I think, yeah, I wanted one, but I couldn't afford it to be put in this.
And I don't know how to actually add a CD drive onto a fucking
yeah, with my
custom-built PC.
Yeah, with my case, I don't think I can do it, because I have some fans right in the front here.
Yeah, same.
So it's, yeah, I have no idea. But it's really, It's just funny because.
Don't worry, guy. I do have a real PC.
Yes, exactly. I do
I
as
did
well.
build it myself. I built it myself. So trust me, I know it's real. Oh, damn it.
Music can set your tone. Lighting can set your tone. And don't be afraid to say to your players, listen, we are playing a truly disgusting campaign where you are going into the sewers. I'm providing the snacks. Go out to the shop, buy some food coloring, and grab that packet of crisps or whatever it is that you guys are going to be munching on and mix it up a little bit. There is nothing wrong with using props and then...
So I agree with
that is not at all what I was gonna hope for. I was hoping he was gonna get a thing of jelly beans and be like, "Here you go, motherfuckers. Try dodging the bad ones."
Yeah, give them some birdie bots.
Yeah,
or whatever the fuck, the jelly belly ones. Oh fuck. Yeah.
The real fucking nasty ones.
That'd be really funny.
Yeah. So, and then like, oh, you got a bad one? Here, roll a Constitution save.
Yeah, exactly. Oh, that'd be great.
That'd be really funny.
But yeah, I agree with the props, because I was saying like with the bottles and stuff, but I don't know about the food coloring one, because like I understand, cool, yeah, neat, but also like I don't know, it's a little I would say if you're gonna make a whole dish, then sure, but like for like snacks and shit,
for just a bag of chips.
I'm not gonna pour food coloring on my bag of chips, thanks.
Not to mention the chips are gonna be all fucking soggy and gross now, which I mean that might be the point.
Maybe,
but I don't want to eat them now.
Yeah.
And handing over the players that bowl of chips that's got maybe the dip mixed in with the chips, but the whole thing's colored blood red.
Oh, okay, yeah, if you do it to the dip, yeah, okay, that works.
Yeah, that's what I would do.
Yeah.
If I had to, I'd be like, okay, here, we got some fucking queso, but the queso's like puke green.
Yeah.
It's like, don't worry, it's just regular queso.
Yeah.
Eat these chips. Now you must have this, or now you must do that. So don't think that there is anything wrong with using props. Serve drinks in wine glasses next time rather than in mugs. And perhaps instead of serving beer or Coca-Cola, try and find something that's more appropriate to the scene. If you're in a sci-fi setting,
you're in a sewer,
find soft drinks that are totally weird colors and add that to your stock. Again, just to enhance the sense of the scene.
Oh, Jesus.
So your setting can be very important. And music is critical to choose. Avoid anything with lyrics in it, because the moment it's got lyrics, your tone is shattered.
I
Your
agree.
players will either know the lyrics, or they'll start listening to the lyrics. Or
exactly. That's the problem. Then you want to sing along. It's like, yeah. Or they'll try to understand what's being said because it sounds like a message, right? Like, we're playing in a sewer today, so I peed on everything for tone.
Yep.
What? I'm a method actor.
They'll start singing along with them. So avoid lyrics. Use soundtracks, classical music, that kind of stuff. And again, tone specific. And there are movies for every type of tone. So you have no excuse for not finding the right piece of music.
Sure.
And then finally, how many of you have thought of using dice to set tone?
Okay.
How do you use dice to set the tone? How would you use dice to make something happy? How would you use dice to make something horrific?
Yes.
How would you use dice to make something sad? Well, dice are a point of unknown, aren't they? They are this random chaos factor. But as the GM, you can control how that random chaos is interpreted. If the players fail a roll and it's a sad scene, have the fingers reaching out to catch the fallen hero. Have them make an acrobatics check or a reflex skill point save or a whatever, and talk about just how close the fingers are coming.
Oh, okay. So it's not the dice. It's just describing a scene
narrating
differently. Yeah, I was gonna say narration. That's not what this is. Okay.
Yeah, it's essentially just interpreting the dice in a different way.
Yes.
Than like normal.
I understand what you're saying now. I thought you were literally going to tell me to have different dice for different emotions or
Yeah, it's
something.
like, these are my blue dice. These are for sad things.
These are my sad dice. These are my happy dice. These are my angry dice.
Now, I was thinking that, like, it'd be kind of neat if it was like, okay, you're on a stealth mission as the rogue and you have to go and assassinate somebody. Here,
Right.
take these blood-stained dice. That would be kind of cool, where it's like, that's only for, like, assassinations and killings or whatever.
Sure, yeah. Like that, like I'm cool with using dice thematically that way, but I also am like, my players are going to want to roll their dice.
Yeah, exactly.
You know? Like,
Yeah.
if they don't have that dice set, they're not going to roll my dice. I touched them. I don't, what do you mean?
Yeah, now it's fucking cursed.
Yeah, exactly. Like, they're going to have bad rolls and shit. But, so, ultimately, I do agree, yes. Play your scenes out better. Like, I will say, for our last session of Astatine, there was a critical part that I just did not even narrate, which would have set the tone a little bit better, would have made everything a little bit more creepy. And I missed it. I missed it hard, and I'm so upset.
What was it? Or is it something? No, wait. Is it something that you can mention?
Yeah. It's literally just like you would have heard nothing. Like, in the sense of being in the forest, you know how you hear crickets and all that stuff. You would have heard literally nothing.
Oh, I see.
Yeah,
I see.
It really would have amped up that tone, like, so much. But I fucking dropped the ball super hard.
It's okay. I didn't notice.
Yeah, that's exactly. But I did, and I continue to every day since.
Speak about how the other hand, which has reached back to keep them steady, is losing grip. Make them make a strength check. Make them feel every single moment and talk about what the other person on the other side is doing. Roll those dice, sense motive or perception or psychology or whatever it is. Get them to understand that the other person is terrified and desperate to be saved, and then have them slip into the abyss.
Okay, so, again, I understand what you're doing here, I understand what you're saying, but I also am, like, looking at it from the outside going, oh, you're just making them roll dice a lot to make them feel really bad.
Yeah,
like,
because here's the other problem.
Yeah.
You could be doing this, and you're trying to get them to have this epiphany moment where they're like, oh no, he's gonna die, and he's scared of dying. Right. But here's the problem. They're gonna fail those rolls.
Yeah.
This is D&D. They're gonna fail.
Yeah, they could just completely, and you just go, oh, okay, never mind.
Yeah, and it's like, okay, he falls.
So in that case, just narrate it. Like, don't even roll the dice, you know? Because if you really want to drive that point home, because it's not hard to see when somebody is terrified on their face, you know? Desperate, you know, all that kind of stuff. Like, if they are truly in that moment, you will see it in their face, in their eyes, everything they're doing, they're flailing or whatever. And so, like, you can drive that point home fine, but I think the rolling of the dice would make it even worse, in the sense of just, like, if they fail it or if they succeed it, it's like, oh, so you now cause the fact that you know that this is what's happening, rather than this is just a thing that is part of the scene, you know? It more feels like something that they have brought upon themselves.
Yeah.
Which is just weird to me. I'd rather be the bad guy in that moment. You know? Like, hey, I know this sucks. I made it suck. You know? You didn't make this suck. No. You tried. You tried all you wanted to. Now I get to tell you how you fucked up.
Yes.
You know? To be fair, I recently got a thing of spiked metal dice for moments of critical importance. Ooh, that's cool.
Nice.
Yeah, fair enough. It is, as a DM, I think it's a lot easier to use dice thematically than I think it would be for a player too.
Yes.
And giving them the option to use your dice that you've used for thematic means is probably better than
just making them do it.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
The dice gods always love to ruin my plans. Exactly, Lux. That is exactly the case. For all of us.
Yes.
Dice have helped you make that so much more visceral. The players have been desperate to roll those successful numbers. But if you are working those numbers and you're making sure, yes, they succeed, and when they succeed, they touch the fingertips, just the fingertips, make another roll, and then the fingertips slip out because they've failed, because things have now changed. The dice, even the dice are against this successful save. The dice are making it sad. And when it's frantic and things are going, have them roll the dice, have them roll more dice, roll an attack, roll an defense, roll an attack, roll an defense. This thing is just hitting you, pounding you, keep going, make another roll, another roll, another roll. You're dead. The dice have allowed you to make it frantic, to make those players just scrabbling to throw their dice as much as they can.
So in that respect, I would say sure.
But on the other hand, if you did that to me, I'd be like, okay, calm the fuck down.
Yeah.
Because that's starting to get a little bit too intense.
Like, I feel like it's also, again, you're saying the dice are doing it. It is
but
you.
It's you.
It is you literally making it so that the players have to do these things, okay?
Yeah.
Maybe it works for some groups, maybe it doesn't work for other groups, but for me, I feel like the narration is the most important part, really, in conveying what's going on.
Yes.
Because otherwise, what do you got? You know? Like, the way that I make you picture what's happening is the way that I tell the story. You know? So, and the dice are there to aid me.
Yes, they're there to facilitate that.
Exactly.
That's pretty much it.
But the story is you and me talking, right? Like, we are just saying words to each other and kind of coming up with the narrative. So, dice are powerful, sure, but also,
calm down.
Yeah, a little bit.
Calm down.
It's the dice. So you can use the dice to make your tone feel amazing. So dice are really, really, really powerful. Think about that. Think about it the next time you get characters to roll dice.
I think my one, just the main thing that I would say, just to counter this, is just to say, you have given the dice that much power.
Yes.
That is you. You have done that. Just remember that. It's not the dice, it's you.
Yeah.
And, as the DM, mostly. Like, players kind of have to go by whatever the DM says, so really it's just the DM who has all the power there, and it's really just going through that weird, it feels like a weird power trip for a second. Like, it's not a bad one necessarily, it's just weird.
Yeah.
Especially for that example.
It definitely is.
And do not watch the April Fool's video that we made on dice. That didn't go down well.
Okay.
Oh.
Finally, and I mentioned it at the beginning of the
video, now I'm kind of curious.
Should you change tone in a single setting or in a single session?
Okay.
My belief is absolutely. It is the juxtaposition of tone that creates contrast and that will help enhance the different tones that you're setting.
Absolutely.
If you are going for a horrific scene where there are these dark things just crawling out of the walls and psychologically abusing the players with visual imagery that's just pouring into their characters' heads, have that going on for a while. Just keep pumping, keep pushing, keep that dark, menacing, foreboding horror element. And then, as the characters push the door open, have one of them fart. It breaks the tension. It breaks. Have one of them burp. Have one of them.
Okay, not like that.
Yeah, I was gonna say bad example.
Yeah,
really
very,
bad example.
very bad example, because that is tonal whiplash.
Yeah, that
because that's like Hollywood level shit writing there.
The worst Hollywood level shit writing.
Because what you should have happen is, same scenario, they're in that house, and there's shit going on. It's bad. They're busting down the door. And when they bust out the door, they fall on the grass and then they turn back. Nothing. That's how you do it.
Well,
it's not something funny. It's just that they have escaped. Somehow they did make it.
Well,
but it's still there.
Exactly. If we're going for a horror kind of setting, I would say that having this remain, like, the horror should remain lingering a little bit for a while, and then the levity comes from the people that are experiencing it. Not
I'm not saying levity.
DM. Well, I know. What I'm saying is if we really want to have the exact duality of horror to comedy, right? Mm-hmm. That is something that the players can do.
Yes, that is something that the players have to do.
I would not, unless it has been a significant amount of time, you know, since that moment of the horror, and there still hasn't been any. Then I would go, okay, it's my job as the DM or keeper or whatever to maybe introduce the character who is always having a good time, you know, who's like there to lift their spirits more so, you know, because they need that at this moment.
I think on the other hand, yes, I agree. On the other hand, I think that should be, you have to be very careful with that.
Yes. Oh, absolutely.
Because the players might not be doing that because they want to prolong it. Yeah. And they want to enjoy that tension. And so if you try to break it, then everybody gets angry.
Exactly. It could very well, like, it really depends. You have to really find and pay attention to how your players are during that kind of moment. Mm-hmm. Because otherwise you could set about something like that, which is why I would rather rely on the players to set the tone in a horror setting than have me do it, because I don't want to fuck it up.
Or at least it's the DM's job to horrify.
Yes.
It is the player's job to bring it back down.
Yeah, I think
because they are the ones who should choose when things, because here's the thing. Most of the times, we're going to use Call of Cthulhu as an example.
Yeah, absolutely.
Most of the times in Call of Cthulhu or Delta Green, the things aren't actively coming after the players.
Exactly.
Like in the initial discovery, you are seeking them out. They're not coming to you. They may chase you down later, but that's because you've provoked them. So, in essence, they start the horror and the comedy. Exactly. They are in complete command of when things change tonally. And that's a good thing. Because it means that, for the most part, the players are effectively in charge of this kind of adrenaline pumping thing.
Yeah, exactly. It gives them so much. It gives so much freedom for them.
Yes,
and ultimately, it can give the DM keeper whatever freedom as well, because you can see the process of which they are playing those characters through these experiences, so you can really figure out exactly how that like plays through and how your next kind of thing might make it go, and like it can, like, all the consequences of these horrors that they've gone through can make it so they might react differently, but you get to see that transition, right? You get to see them become more maybe more cynical, more
paranoid,
more paranoid, more humorous, even, just to trying to break this, you know, thing that's going on with their character in order to find that solace that they need to keep going, right?
Because it's the only way they can keep themselves sane.
Exactly. And so, yeah, just really bad fucking example. Don't like it. Real
terrible example.
Yes, Bodily Humor, the king of all humor. May I recommend they come across the classic of the dead body with their shoes on backwards, as they were so terrified they put them on wrong, i.e. gallows humor for horror. Yeah, could be. Absolutely. Yeah. And they might not even see it as a funny thing at that moment.
Yeah, hopefully.
Maybe. I don't know.
Well, I mean, if you're trying to make it scary.
Oh, in the moment, yeah, they probably don't, and then later on, if they reminisce, then it's like, why do you have his shoes on backwards? That's weird.
Unless it's an investigation, in which case it'll be like, his shoes are on backwards. Why?
Why?
This is a clue, because it's fucking weird.
I mean, to be fair, even if it's not an investigation, I think that would still be the case.
It's true.
Because you pointed it out, and you're the DM, and you know something. You know something about that.
Mm-hmm.
The humor breaks that tension for a moment and lets everyone go, oh, really? You had to do that now? And then you cut off one of their heads with an axe from the axe murderer behind them.
No.
The tone shifts just like that.
Okay, so...
Again, no.
Okay, if we want to have an interlude between... maybe this is just because we don't like this kind of horror that he's talking about, because this is bad horror.
Yeah, no, it's bad. It's bad writing. It's as simple
exactly.
as that.
It's just bad. It's just bad.
Yeah, it's just bad.
Like, if you really want to have a moment between, I would suggest for it to be a calm moment. Not a humorous moment, a calm moment. Like you were saying with the house disappearing afterwards.
Well, no, not the house. They burst out of the house. They fall down onto the front lawn. They turn around, and then there's nothing there.
Oh, okay. Nothing was chasing them.
Well, no. It's not that nothing was chasing them. It's that it's gone.
Yeah. Okay, that's what I meant. So
it's still a calm moment, but there's still this horrible ambiguity. Where is it? Is it inside the house? Is it out here with us?
And then if we want to get back to that moment, in that moment, we can have that moment of calm, but there's lingering horror, and then afterwards they can like look around and then be like, okay, I guess we're going, and then they turn around, and then the house is there again, right?
Yeah.
Like, then it becomes, oh fuck, it's still here, right?
Yeah, now it's still going on. It basically, think of it like Total Recall.
Yes. Yep.
The whole time you're wondering, is he awake or is he asleep?
Yes.
Is this a dream or is this real? The whole time. Yes. So you can use that kind of thing where it's like, am I dreaming or am I not?
Yes.
You have the ambiguity that's impossible to, actually confirm until very, very, like, way later.
Exactly. Like, anyway.
Yeah.
It hurts.
No.
It's like horrible. It just feels bad in my whole body.
It's very bad. It's terrible. It's terrible advice.
I don't understand. I don't understand.
I don't either. It's very strange because ordinarily his writing stuff, very good.
Yeah.
And it makes it more horrific because you are so relaxed. So by playing with your tone, having a majestic scene followed by a sad scene, and then after that, a scene of reverie, perhaps of reflection upon the scene, helps make it more poignant. But don't keep it depressed for very long, because we are trying to escape. Yes, we need it to make sure that story remains true to ourselves and true.
What if I wanted to escape my depression by going into deeper depression, huh?
Yeah, right? The fucking can't catch me down here, you son of a bitch.
To being a proper story. But then have a light moment. Introduce the funny old character who makes inappropriate remarks, or literally just some good fortune falls upon the characters.
That I'd be okay with.
So I hope this is going to help you to reevaluate how you use tone in your game.
Well, definitely some of it, not all of it.
Not that last
sitting
bit.
around a table and put it into that warm little campfire that's around in the fantasy world, or whatever the case might be that you're in, and let you really experience a different level of gaming. Hit that like button, hit that subscribe button, preferably. And until next time, I wish you all the very best of gaming.
Thanks, guy. Oh, God.
Oh, God,
fuck.
so loud.
So sorry,
Jesus.
everyone. Gee.
Just,
it was so quiet before.
Yeah.
I'm so glad your things now aren't that bad.
Yeah, fuck me.
Audio mixing. Anyway.
Apparently it's hard. It's as hard as tone.
I used to be able to figure out if I was dreaming, but my brain knows how to fool me into thinking I'm awake now, says Lux. Oh, God. I'm so sorry. That's bad. Well, that's that. We did
Yeah.
it. Those are the videos.
Yep, not that bad. Honestly, even from Guy, not that bad. It's just that one thing that I have serious contention with.
Exactly. Like, otherwise, pretty good
because
advice.
Like, I don't mean to toot my own horn, but I feel like I have done a very good job with tone in my game.
Yeah.
I feel like I've done very well. You know, the fun moments have been fun, the serious moments have been serious, the tense moments have been tense. And there's never really been tonal whiplash unless it's meant explicitly for comedy.
Right, exactly. Yeah. I would say so.
Okay. Well, that's good to hear from one of the players. That, you know.
I was even talking about it before you got in. I was talking about how literally every time Dispotter's like on the screen, quote unquote, right? We like even though I'm playing Mez, who literally takes the piss out of most everything, fucking finger guns everywhere, you know? He's just
dead serious.
Here. Yeah, he's the most serious guy of all time. But yeah, he literally gives Dispotter the respect he deserves, and like he'll do the things after and before, but not during.
But not during.
No,
because even Mez knows that. You do the wrong thing in that room, you're not coming out of that room.
Yeah, exactly. It's serious business. Come on.
Yeah. And that's what he was always meant to be. He was meant to be not really an antagonist.
Yeah.
Because he doesn't really do anything to harm you guys.
No, exactly.
But he is definitely an authoritative as fuck figure.
Yeah, exactly. Hey, Mungus. Hello, sorry I'm late. My sister fell down the stairs. Oh, Jesus.
Oh, jeez.
Is she okay?
Can you collect the insurance?
Oh my God.
I like how we both have the two, like, completely opposite reactions.
Christ.
I apologize. I'm joking. I'm joking.
Yeah, I know. It's just, yikes. It's funny how last week was supposed to be a relaxing stream, but this stream is somehow more relaxed. Oh yeah, you know, it's the fucking that's total whiplash, Mongoose. Yeah, that's true. Yeah, you know, it's the best laid plans of mice and men. I tried last, you know, for the end of the year, but beginning of the year, pretty relaxed. Feels good.
Maybe 2022 will be better than all the other ones.
No.
It won't be.
No.
Of course not.
Anyway, we're going to move on to comment. And I say that because there is one.
It's from Lux.
It is from Lux.
I knew it.
Hey. So, Lux says, on last year's video, excuse me.
oh, yeah.
I understand the desire to spend a stream just chilling out, but the fact of the matter is, there had to be a final boss for the year. Yeah, you know. Yeah. So the entire first beginning part of the video could be reduced to this. Holidays celebrate times of transition. It could be a transition from one year or one season to the next, or it could represent the memory of a cultural tradition in the past, like a major cultural shift or a colony becoming an independent country. In some cases, the holiday may focus on a specific person who is given credit for causing that change to happen, but it's really about the change itself. No matter what your personal achievements might have been, you don't get a holiday named after you unless people believe the world changed because of you. True. And I agree with all, like, that. It's so much easier to understand. It's great. Yeah. She's fine. She tripped on a rubber boot and into a bunch of soda cans. Oh my God. Well, that's not too bad. There you go.
That's not that bad.
Yeah. Anyway, what we can understand from this trend is that real-world cultures regard transitional times as meaningful in some way, and we react to that meaning in some form of communal celebration. If you want your fiction to reflect real life, this understanding is where you can start with any holidays you portray.
See, there you go.
True.
That's a very much more precise and helpful description.
Absolutely.
Of what holidays can be and how you can make them.
Yes. There was Pepsi everywhere. Oh man.
Oh,
I'm so
rip.
sorry. You don't necessarily have to make your fantasy world work in the same way the real world does, as long as what the world does instead makes sense. But what does matter is whether the holidays you create actually feel meaningful to your audience and evoke an emotion. If they don't, it just becomes information you're giving them that they won't particularly care about. So anything you can do to make your fictional holidays achieve the same emotional resonance as a real holiday will help you achieve your goal in creating them. Probably. Yeah, I don't see why not. Of course, if you want to establish a fictional race as psychologically different from humans, this is one way you could go about setting them apart. Possibly have them not celebrate at all if, for example, you want them to resemble drones in a hive. Or come up with some alternative basis for what would cause them to hold a celebration if that's something they're still going to do. If you're going either of those routes, my brain can't say words. Or routes, either one. You would need to specifically call your audience's attention to it at some point if you want it to be effective. That I agree with, yeah. Otherwise, they might just not even think about it or not realize that it was something you did intentionally. You could pretty much consider it a general rule that anytime you want to do something that could be seen as unrealistic in fiction, you need to address that point and make it clear that it was intentional and that you don't just have a misunderstanding of how that thing actually works.
That is a very good point.
Yes, I agree wholeheartedly.
Yeah.
That way you can still maintain the lined out verisimilitude. Realsy feelsy.
Oh, nice.
Thank you for the realsy feelsy at the end.
Yeah.
I like that.
Good shit.
But yes, I agree. Verisimilitude. Oh man. That word will haunt me forever. But yeah.
Get a shirt that says verisimilitude.
Oh, fuck me. So yeah, I agree. If you point it out and you make it like a sticking point that your world has, then yes, absolutely, it will be taken as something that's more accepted by your players and by anyone, even if you're writing just a book. Like, and as long as it makes sense to them, like enough, it doesn't have to make total sense because it could be alien, like you said. It could be something that's like, oh, we celebrate Blorgen when our babies erupt into violent volcanoes, mini volcanoes. And you're like, dude, why? You're like, why? That kills like a lot of your babies. They just go, it's how we do. It's our way.
Yeah, it doesn't always happen.
Yeah, it's not. It's literally. It's
and I mean,
just
we celebrate it so that it doesn't happen. Yeah, it's to appease the guy.
Right.
Like,
it's once a year, and we still have babies in the meantime. Like, it's just something that happens. We try not to have babies by the time that happens, but when it does, it's a thing, and we gotta celebrate it. Otherwise, our God.
And here's the thing: we also, before it happens, we drop them into the ocean.
Yeah.
And when they erupt, it makes a new island for people to live on.
Ooh, yeah.
See?
There you go.
It's like, well, there's a baby, but hey.
Don't worry. That's a baby land. Anyway. So yeah, do that. It good.
Yeah, yeet babies.
Well, less that, I would say. Well, yeah, that's good little thing, everybody. Good job. Yeah, good job. You were here. You were here.
Sorry I was late.
Nah, it's fine. Final little bit here. Of course, I will re-thank our patrons. So thank you again to Draco Kraken, Mog Zero, Slazer, Steely, Drake Cross, Chris, Lux, Frozen Spaghetti, and Kill Chrono. Appreciate all of you. Thank you for your continued patronage and getting us closer and closer to that far off dice goal. It will arrive. I promise you. It will happen. And And thank you to all of you who have just been hanging out and watching and all that stuff. Congratulations to our new mods. That's Draco Kraken, Pizza Funk, and Slazer.
I didn't know we had mods.
Yes, I have employed our mods now.
boy.
There are mods in our Discord as well as in our chats because
Now how are we going to afford dice?
well, see, employ is a funny word here. But anyway, yeah, Boo, missed it. You have mods now, yeah.
Shit.
But yeah, it's because the bots are annoying and I'm not always paying attention. So
Yeah.
thank you
Fair
to
enough.
all of you.
Yeah.
But yes, and thank you, of course, to all the rest who've just been hanging out, watching, listening, and those of you in the future, watching, listening, all that stuff. Consider, if you're new, subscribing to the channel.
Oh
Whoa.
Why should they do that, Alejo?
Well, let me tell you, you can get
Raid Shadow Legend.
No! You can get alerts to when we stream and when we post things, and also get us closer to 1,000 because that's a cool goal. Still, even if we have to post things, but it's still cool. We're getting closer.
At now, anyway?
We're at 587 as
Nice.
of now, I think. So get us there. We're almost at 600. That's pretty cool.
Yeah.
And once we have 1,000, I think we get like channel membership. That's a thing that you can do with YouTube now.
Oh.
It's like another way of subscribing and stuff.
Okay.
I don't know.
Yeah.
I think you can do.
That's
you can do
before
like,
my time.
yeah, I don't know anymore. We'll figure it out as we go.
Yeah.
Do I get benefits as a mod? Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Don't know what they are yet.
Wait,
We'll let you know.
I will get you thing. Yeah, we'll figure it out. I definitely I want to make it so our mods are well taken care of in the sense of you get attention and also benefits of some sort. What do people do? We'll talk about it, okay? We'll talk about it.
I don't know.
I think. Do I have a mod chat in the Discord? I think I do somewhere. I think I did. Unless, anyway, I'll talk to you more. Anyway, so
Okay.
other than that, so unpaid non-internships, yes. You're paid with exposure and our great appreciation. But yeah. Other than that, that's it for the first fucking stream of the month, of the year, of the new
era.
Yep, I could use dental. Ooh, that's I'll look in the budget, but I'm not sure about that. We'll meet me in my office later. We'll talk.
Meet me in my office. It's at the top of this very, 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 very tall staircase.
Yes. There's no elevator. I'm sorry, or escalator.
Yeah,
we don't have the budget. Anyway, we had the budget for the building, and that was it. So, yeah, we'll see you next week for something. Something
else.
Yeah, it'll be another thing.
Wow. And are we still on track for Astatine this week, hopefully?
Should be, as long as everybody's good.
Yeah.
We will see how that goes. And tomorrow, I will be putting up the one we did like 2 weeks ago. So that you guys can see that if you haven't seen it yet. It was good. I liked it.
Yeah.
But yeah, we'll see you next time. Thanks, everybody. Goodbye.
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 Goodbye. I don't have an office. I lied to you.
Yeah, me neither.